Warning, minor spoilers and super move spoilers. If you do not want to be spoiled, then don't watch this video. Yo, what's going on, Retro Gaming Nation? It is Retro Nintendo Gaming back for another video, and today we are going to rank every single Class 1A character from My Hero Academia. My computer isn't working very well, so don't expect the highest quality. Also, that's the reason I haven't been uploading lately. Also, another side note, I'm not ranking them based off of personal opinion and bias, this is based off of how strong they are. But without further ado, let's get started. Now, starting us off at number 20 is Koda, or Anima. Koda's quirk is called Anavoice. He can control any animal near him and give commands to them, although if the animal is anthropomorphic, he cannot control them. Sorry, Nezu. Another huge weakness is that if he has a bad matchup or is fighting in the wrong environment, it'll be very difficult for him to use his quirk. Now that we've explained why his quirk sucks, let's move on to his biggest weakness. Koda has a phobia of bugs, which is awful since he has the power to control them as well. Let's imagine a city where the only animal he can rely on is a bug, but he's too scared to actually use them to his advantage. Let's move on. On the number 19 spot, we have the most irrelevant character, Sato, or Sugar Man. His quirk is Sugar Rush. Whenever he eats 10 grams of sugar, he becomes 5 times stronger for 3 minutes. If he has more sugar during that time frame, the time of his quirk will be boosted. But after the 3 minutes, he gets sleepy. The problem with this quirk is that 3 minutes is not very long in a crisis. It's not very long in a crisis, as shown in multiple occasions of League of Villains. Well, that was fast. Now at the dazzling number 18 spot, we have Aoyama, or Can't Stop Twinkling. His quirk is Navel Laser, which allows him to shoot lasers out of his belly button. If he uses his quirk too much, or for more than a second, his stomach will hurt, or get to the point of collapse. This quirk has a lot of drawbacks, which is why it's so low on the list. Aoyama has 2 super moves. His first is Art of Seduction, where Aoyama places his hands behind his head and fires his laser. He can also jump before using his move, so he can gain a speed boost. His second super move is Navel Laser Buffet, where he fires successive beams from his belly button and shoulders due to his hero costume. But using his power makes him more worn out than usual. But that's all, so let's move on. At the number 17 spot, we have Shoji, or Tentacle. His quirk is Dupli Arms, which allows the tips of Shoji's tentacles to replicate parts of his body. He can see, hear, feel, smell, and pee, and glide with enhanced power. And I'm being serious when I say the pee part. And speaking of his power, he's shown to be having a lot of it. Having a great grip, and being shown to carry Mineta, Asui, and Midoriya with ease. A problem with Shoji is that despite being a powerhouse in Season 1, he sucks later in the series. Well, at least he'd make a good sidekick. Number 16 is mediocrity himself, Masahiro Ojiro, or Tailman. Ojiro's quirk is Tail. This quirk gives him a tail. When putting into consideration how useless the quirk is, he has to be creative with it, which he is. He commonly whips his tail down for a speed boost. Another answer to his quirk is his skill in martial arts. He commonly uses close combat and agility to win battles. At the number 15 spot, we have Toru Hagakure, or Invisible Girl. Her quirk is invisibility, which turns her body invisible. Her clothes and what she's holding are not invisible, though, meaning Hagakure has to take off her clothes to be completely invisible, which creates some funny moments. Her super move is Light Reflection, which bends light through her body to temporarily blind her opponents. That's all I can find on Hagakure, so let's continue the list. Flying around at the number 14 spot, we have Sero, or Cellophane. His quirk is Tape, which allows the user to shoot tape out of his elbows. His tape is a bit sturdier and wider than normal tape. He can wrap around people like a rope and use it like a whip to repel himself. So basically, Kohei Horikoshi incorporated his favorite superhero Spider-Man into the My Hero Academia universe. Anyways, Sero can also create traps and make both sides of his tape sticky. Double-sided tape. F you. He's also been shown to shoot multiple strands of tape from his elbows. If he overuses this quirk, then his skin will start to dry. But that's all, so... Number 13 is everybody's favorite pervert, Minoru Mineta, or grape juice. His quirk is pop-off, which allows the user to produce and pull sticky balls from his head. The duration of his sticky ball's stickiness depends on how healthy he is. He can throw a large amount of balls from his head, but if he overuses it, his head will start to bleed. Mineta's super move is Grape Rush, where Mineta rushes towards the opponent throwing lots of sticky balls at them, which leaves the enemy paralyzed while Mineta runs away. Now let's explain the problems with Mineta that have nothing to do with his quirk. Besides his intelligence, he has a horrible personality for battles. First off, he's a pervert, done right. And he's also a coward, which is why he kind of sucks. But he's not that bad, right? At the number 12 spot, we have Ojiro, or Earphone Jack. Her quirk is Earphone Jack, which allows her to plug the jacks in her earlobes into all sorts of things, and channel the sound of her heartbeat into them. Her quirk also allows her to hear very well. She can also hear through even the thickest walls. She can also stretch the jacks up to 6-meter radius. Fun fact, Jiro can break rocks using her jacks. Next, Jiro's super move is Heartbeat Fuzz, where Jiro can pretty much shatter the ground with her earphone jacks. She can also cancel out other sounds. Holy crap, that was a long one. Alright, number 11. Number 11 is the Living Derpface Denki Kaminari, or Charge Bolt. His quirk is Electrification, which allows Kaminari to shoot electricity from his body. But if he uses all of his power at once, he'll turn into a living derpface, and lose all the cells in his brain. In order to recover his quirk, he needs to have a phone charger plugged into him. But his quirk turning him dumb doesn't even matter when he ranked 20th in midterms. His super move is Indiscriminate Discharge 1,300,000 volts, where Kaminari releases all the all of his power to shock everyone around him. That was shockingly fast, so let's move on. Starting with top 10, we have Mina Ashido, or Pinky. Her quirk is Acid, which allows the user to shoot a corrosive liquid from her body and have complete control over it. It can be used for offense and utility, and she can be seen skating using her quirk. Ashido also has enhanced reflexes. See her fight with Aoyama and you'll know what I mean. Her super move is Acid Veil, which by maximizing her acid's power, she can block projectiles. The move's strong enough to block concrete, and that's it. At the number 9 spot, we have Uraraka, or Gravity. Her quirk is Zero Gravity, which gives her the power to manipulate gravity, such as making objects float upon touching them. She can cancel the effects of her quirks by touching her fingertips together. If she uses her quirk too much, she'll get nausea and throw up rainbows. This quirk is somewhat negated with her training and hero costume. She also learned martial arts from Gunhead, and making her a mix of combat and support. Another overlooked part of Uraraka is her keen intellect. While she may not be academically smart, ranking 13th at midterms, she can find out her opponent's weaknesses and combat style pretty quickly. This is first found out when she fought Bakugo. One of her moves is Meteor Shower, which is not a super, where she pretends to get beat up while little pieces fall from attacks. But she touches the pieces and releases them down for a devastating attack. But that's all, so let's go on to number 8. At number 8, we have Asui, or Froppy, my favorite character. Her quirk is Frog, which allows her to do anything a frog can, such as hopping long distances, jumping, sticking to walls, extending her tongue from up to 20 meters and being able to carry an entire person's body, washing her stomach and secreting a toxic sticky liquid, and finally camouflage, which is easier to do for hero costume. She also has a considerably large amount of intelligence, ranking 6th at midterms, and has a very cooperative personality which fits with her quirk, having no real weaknesses. As overall, Asui is a really strong character. Number 7 is Ojiro Kirishima, or Red Riot. His quirk is Hardening, which gives him the power to harden and sharpen his body. The ability protects him from physical attacks, heat waves, and shock waves, but there's a limit to how amount of hits he can take. The hardened skin will begin to dissipate, and Kirishima will lose stamina. His hardened form depends on how much stamina he has. His quirk also boosts his strength, as shown in the sports festival and final exams. A move he uses is called Red Counter, where he endures a hit and then punches the opponent. Another one is Red Gauntlet, where he runs up to his opponent and delivers a strong punch. And finally, his super move is Red Riot Unbreakable, where he hardens his body to the maximum point so nothing can hurt him. This form can only be maintained for 30 seconds, and that's Kirishima. At the dark and edgy number 6 spot, we have Fumikage Tokoyami, or Tsukuyomi, my second favorite character. His quirk is Dark Shadow, where Tokoyami is the host of a sentient shadow beast that he can materialize and contract to and from his body freely. You can use it for purposes such as protecting himself. Despite its versatility, Dark Shadow is weaker in sunlight. If Dark Shadow runs out of energy, then it'll go back into Tokoyami's belly. Dark Shadow will get stronger if Tokoyami's under any negative emotion, but Tokoyami will lose control. In the day, Dark Shadow is easier to control, but in the night it's harder to control. But has more strength, being able to destroy trees with ease. His first attack is Piercing Claw of the Dusk, which shoots out Dark Shadow for a quick claw attack. His second move is Gloom of a Black Arm, which shoots out both of Dark Shadow's claws to surround the opponent. And finally, his super move is Black Amph, where Tokoyami dons and equips Dark Shadow over him, which makes up for Tokoyami's own physical weaknesses. And before we move on to the number 5 spot, I want to mention that All Might and the number 3 hero at the time, Hawks, admired Tokoyami for his abilities, as well as the League of Villains trying to capture him, so he's definitely a formidable foe. Starting off the top 5, we have Momo Yaoyorozu, or Creati. Her quirk is Creation, which allows her to create any non-living object from her exposed skin through her fat cells. As long as she knows the materials the object is made of, she can create it. It takes a longer amount of time and skin exposed to create bigger objects. She says she has more material to work with when she eats, so she needs to eat to make her quirk more effective. Along with having a strong quirk, Yaoyorozu is also skilled with weapons. She is shown many times to be using a shield and staff. She also is the smartest person in Class 1A, having an S rank in intelligence and being ranked first in midterms. But that's all, and it's time for number 4. Now, at number 4 spot, we have Tenya Ida. Ida's quirk is Engine, which allows him to accelerate himself with enhanced speed for 10 seconds, at the cost of disabling the engines for a short period of time. Ida also has good leadership skills, which would make it easier for him to lead a bunch of other heroes. Ida has 2 super moves. His first is Recipio Burst, which allows Ida to accelerate and move even faster than usual, though the drawback is much bigger when he uses this move. His second super move is Recipio Extend, and which after Ida cools down from Recipro Boost, he'll be able to use it again for a longer amount of time. That was surprisingly fast, so let's get on to number 3. At the number 3 spot, we have Shoto Todoroki. His quirk is half hot, half cold. This allows the user to control fire on his left side and ice from his right. His right side can create large waves of ice, and his left side generates heat, which allows Todoroki to shoot large streams of fire. If Todoroki overuses his ice, he'll suffer from frostbite, and his attacks will grow weaker. While his fire side can warm the frost in his body, he'll suffer from heat stroke if he uses that side too often. Todoroki also does not have much control over his fire since he refused to use it for 10 frickin' years. And it isn't until the 2-episode Stain arc that we get to see Todoroki have more control over his fire. He can use both powers at once, but he isn't used to it, so he switches back and forth most of the time. He has enhanced durability, and endurance, agility, and intelligence. And his super move is Giant Ice Wall, where Todoroki creates an enormous glacier that blocks the whole stadium and immobilizes the opponent. That was long. Time for the next one. Exploding at the number 2 spot, we have Katsuki Bakugo, or Lord Explosion Murder. Bakugo's quirk is called Explosion, which allows him to secrete nitroglycerin like sweat from his palms and detonate it at will to create explosions. The more Bakugo sweats, the stronger his quirk becomes. He uses his quirk to blast opponents and propel himself in the air. He's strong enough to break through Todoroki's giant ice wall and Kirishima's hardening quirk. He can gain up on his opponent so fast his opponent won't have time to react. His explosions can also be used to evade incoming attacks. Even in air, his strongest explosion is when he shattered Uraraka's meteor shower and blew her away as a result. When using his explosions rapid fire, they actually have a negative effect on Bakugo's arms, though recoil on Bakugo's arms are fairly minimal given his physical prowess. The main moment when Bakugo's drawback is hinted at is in the final exams arc, where All Might has to push Bakugo back because he was hurting himself too much. Another drawback is that he can't use his quirk in flammable areas because he would cause extra damage. It's also hard for him to use his quirk in a cold environment because he can't sweat much. Bakugo has a whopping 4 super moves. His first is Blast Rush Turbo, where he pushes his hands back to explode with a speed boost and even fly. His second is called Stun Grenade, where Bakugo creates a spear of light between his hands that creates a flash and blinds opponents. His third is Holster, I don't know how to pronounce, Impact, where Bakugo takes into the air, making a tornado. It builds up oxygen to fuel a powerful explosion. And finally, his final super move is AP Shot, which is Bakugo's official final blow. Bakugo stretches out one of his hands and uses the other to form a circle of explosions. When Bakugo concentrates his energy into a certain point, he'll be able to break even solid concrete. That was a long one. Here comes number 1. Coming in at the number 1 spot, which leaves literally no one surprised, is the Zuku Midoriya, or Deku. Midoriya's quirk is One for All, which was given to him by All Might. This quirk gives the user access to stockpiled power, granting him superhuman strength and greatly enhanced agility by spreading this power to his whole body. Although he hasn't gotten to the point of All Might, though he can only use one for all for up to 20% while in full cow before breaking his limbs. Another crazy thing about Midoriya himself is his intelligence. He's been taking notes on all sorts of heroes since he was 4, and he also has a high resistance to pain. During the training camp arc, he says that he feels no pain after overusing his power. Okay, now time for his super moves. He has more than 10, so I'll go over them briefly. Detroit Smash, which is a simple punch. 5% Detroit Smash, which is the weakest of the Detroit Smashes. 100% Detroit Smash, which is how Midoriya injures himself most. 1,000,000% Delaware Detroit Smash, which is the strongest of the Detroit Smash, but has the biggest recoil. Delaware Smash, where Midoriya flicks his fingers for a strong attack. Delaware Smash Air Force, where he flicks his fingers for a strong air-style attack. Full Cow, where One for All flows through Midoriya's entire body, making injuries not as bad and giving him speed and agility. Full Cow Shoot Style, which is a strong kick that is stronger than his other moves. Shoot Style St. Louis Smash, which is a move where Midoriya jumps and delivers a roundhouse kick. Full Cow 20%, where Midoriya uses to give him greater power. Full Cow 100%, where Midoriya channels all of his energy into One for All. And finally, Manchester Smash, where the user leaps into the air and kicks the top of his opponent's head. Well, that was probably the second longest video I've ever made. Sorry I haven't been uploading lately, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!